What's going on, y'all? So we got Oh No, it's Alex doing a video here on the Xbox price increases and saying, which I knew he would do, which is good. I mean, if you want to show a sense of balance, like when somebody like them makes this dumb of a move after all the momentum they built up that, I've been covering and I came in to defend the Xbox community for like the last 6 months. I thought we were heading towards something somewhat pro-consumer to a certain extent, at least in the gaming sense. And they had the road to go down all the way to next gen to if they wanted to do something like this, like during that time. You know what I mean? To build up something, like you know what I mean? And they're worse than the other two. And I haven't said this yet, and let me tell you why. Nobody never talked about this. Because of what Nintendo did, they saw your rage, your outcry, and they still said, who gives a shit? Jack the price up anyways. Though we have no right to really do it considering our market position, our software sales position, our hardware sales position, everything, right? It's like out of everyone, and you're $1 trillion company, you got to get back to humanity. How you think you had $1 trillion? Wait, yeah, come on, let's be real here. So yeah, that's my thing on those takes right there. Just think about that. So Alex rips into him as well. So let's get into this. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. All right, we ready?
There it is! There it is! The industry and the gaming landscape is going to fall into an absolute pit of depravity, and we are honestly here for it. That's right. Microsoft, Xbox, you literally only had one job!
Yeah, they literally had one job. I agree with them. All you had to do was not touch anything. You never dropped the price, so just don't drop the price now, right? Because everybody expected you to do that. You didn't do that. That's the thing that people don't understand. I was like, and I think that people who just want to accept this and cover that, yeah, you're a stupid fanboy. Like, you shouldn't accept that.
I have never seen a company more inept in my entire life completely. The fact that Xbox is in literal last place right now and has had the actual opportunity to turn things around multiple times, and I've given them the benefit of the doubt to say, hey, you know what? Maybe they'll actually get their head out of their rear end and do something right for once. Maybe they'll go ahead and do something pro-consumer.
We got to do this now, man. I didn't think I'd be doing this anytime soon. I thought this was going to be good, but now we have to treat them like I've been treating the ponies, man. Like, because you got some people really doing that damage control. I'm like, why are you blaming another company for another company's decision? Like Nintendo decides the decisions of Microsoft. Nope, Satya Nadella does that. He knew what he was doing. They know what they're doing. Not an accident. And now people talking about one game being 80, which is Mario Kart. Now Microsoft's going to do multi-platform greed, trying to sell PlayStation users $80 games and Nintendo users and PC users. Watch how early access is. Let's see if that goes up $10 to $110. See, you choose to do that. Just like you chose to never drop the price of the hardware. You chose to do $69.99 like Sony and 2K did. That don't got nothing to do with anyone else. And anyone that does that type of damage control to me is literally showing me how dumb they are. Don't ever make a damn excuse for a grown ass man making a decision for his company. They did that because they wanted to. They could have bit the bullet, just like people that are doing $49.99.
Like they have been with backwards compatibility, with
Yeah,
Game Pass. But you know what? All they had to do was one thing, and they in fact chose not to do that thing. And the only thing Xbox had to do was nothing. All
exactly.
they had to do was nothing.
100%. Literally, just don't touch anything. You have the opportunity. You see the people in front of you. This is no different than a politician. I'm telling you. They looked at you. They saw your outrage for the Switch 2, and they still said, "Screw you." That makes them worse. They didn't say, "Well, you know what? We're a $1 trillion company. You guys have suffered with us for long enough, so let's not nuke the console anymore. Let's not kill everything that we built up with you." Like, right? Like, you've suffered for like 10 years over in the Xbox community. I still this a little bit more calmly over here compared to my last videos. And they have the audacity to see that everybody's coming in. I came in to defend, you know, a lot of other people. We got some good stuff going here. And obviously I don't have a problem with the community, but I have a problem with what they did. And they just literally just tore it all down. Kind of like your last hope. Then they're going to exit out the industry that way after that with the next console. Yeah, like I told you, scumbags. Now you're seeing the real face. And like I said, they tried to give people the Game Pass service to distract them from seeing the true face of Microsoft. You're seeing the true face. Not that Game Pass is a distraction. No, it's not. What I mean is like for their position, oh, let's do this. Now we're looking like the best things in the world. And they look at us as like, you know, saints now. We're just going to screw them over again and they're going to realize, and they're going to keep on doing it till you wake up and realize, bro, who do you think you're talking about here?
While everybody else was raising their prices, while Nintendo was making $80 games, while they were charging $450 for the Nintendo Switch 2, while PlayStation was making $700 consoles, while they were raising the prices of all their services, all Xbox had to do was listen to Valve and do literally nothing. Keep things as the status quo. Do things as they already were, and people would begin to flock to that platform. But no, they couldn't. Of course, like every single time that I always say, Xbox decided to step on a rake again. This has to be the most idiotic, moronic, stupid company on the face of the earth. Regardless of how you feel about what exclusives and, oh my God, a third party, what truly matters is what happens to the consumer directly. And what's happening in the gaming market right now is that we are seeing consistent price increases and price hikes year over year. This is the third time now that game consoles and prices of games have increased as well, and it is getting to be incredibly out of hand. Anybody sitting here looking me dead in the eye for the last 5 years while I've made this kind of content telling me, oh, you're just a broke boy, get your money up, when is the line gonna be enough?
That never worked on me. Don't get me wrong, I support the games that I want to, but here's what I have to say about that, Alex. This is the thing that I know they can't beat. If you have a lot of money, that doesn't mean you need to make stupid decisions with it. Either you're still making an intelligent decision or you're not. If somebody's scamming you and you have $1 million, if you give them the money, you said, I'm allowing you to scam me. It's just more about the principle here and the dignity. It's like, either I'm being scammed or I'm not. Regardless of the money, that's not the thing. No, it's about, are you scamming me or not? And I'm going to make the choice to accept the scam or not. This is the game here. There's like people who are rich who still like playing a game, and they said they don't care about the money. Oh no, they love playing the game. They like that feeling of winning. You know what I mean? So yeah, that never worked on me when they say you because you're not buying a game, you're being poor. No, 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 no. Sometimes I'm not supporting something because it's a stupid decision to do so, and I don't want to make a stupid decision. You see? It all depends on, you know, how people view things. Some people really have very tunnel vision, shallow mindsets. They're very shallow. Like you can eat, like I'm doing this content creation, he's doing this content creation. We're entertaining, but you're not going to see my whole being on here because I'm way more deeper than that. But I tell you, some of these people are really just bird brains. Like I've seen it definitely the past couple of days. Like I'm like, wow, bro, I can't believe y'all are defending the richest company on the planet. Put people out of jobs for years in the 90s, monopolized the shit that they've done. You have no idea if you've seen a real reality in the mining areas, all that. Not good people. There may be some decent human beings in there, but just don't be surprised. Just have lower expectations to say, I expect Microsoft to screw over their base again. They've already proved to you that they've done that so many times, and they didn't need to.
When is it gonna be there, huh? What are you, Pokemon fans?
I'm like, oh my God, $28 for cookies? It's 4 bags. That's $7 a bag. I know math is hard. Like if you're a broke boy, just say so.
She lives in a vampire bubble.
Anyway, it is honestly completely reprehensible that so many other companies have been defended when they raise prices, talking about that's the price of the gaming industry, that's how things are going. Inflation, using the worst stupid inflation calculator I've honestly ever seen. But
yeah, it's dumb. No, because like, for example, what he's saying, There was no inflation this whole generation. They never dropped the price of the Series X. That's what I tell people that are pissing me off. They're trying to use Nintendo. I'm like, you're being dumb, not because I'm defending them, dumbass, because you're wrong. You're not understanding how the situation works. They made those decisions because they wanted to. Nintendo did 79, not because of Sony, though Sony started it, but they still did that because they wanted to. Sony did 69 with 2K because they wanted to. Everybody was at 59 evenly. The whole thing was even for a long time. And there are some games that don't even deserve to sell at 59. It's like I tell you, like imagine if like Elden Ring launched at 59 and then you see games launching at like 79 and it's like the equal value. Let's not even do that. Let's just say that Elden Ring's launching right now this year. You know what I mean? Along with like some game you beat in 10 hours. Is that the same value? No, it's not. I do believe in variable quality pricing to a certain extent, right? You know what I mean? I think everybody needs to agree. The whole industry should agree, and the community should be able to vote and say, do you think this price drop is good or not? And that should matter. Like the gaming community, they should say no, and they'll be like, well, the gaming community said no. So yeah, we're gonna have to think about that. Like there's none of this. It's just like, do it. I don't care what you think. That's the corporations. It's not like if they're gonna smile at you. Those are type of like soulless beings that are making these decisions. And you're sitting there crying to them that they don't have no emotion to care. Or just want the profits to go up. You can make them the best thing in the world. They'll still lay you off after making the most profit. That's how dumb these corporations are and shitty. They'll lay you off after having the best results of all time just to make even more money when they have way more to begin with. They don't even consider that they have the quality sitting there right in front of them. It's the same thing why you saw all these layoffs, all these teams break down. Same situation. It's all behind the scenes agendas that are following. And on the surface, you see all of them jack the prices up, but who's really controlling it? The puppet master.
But oh God, I'm going to crash out. All right. Let's go back to the beginning
Who
and
owns
see
the
what
industry?
actually happened, shall we? Because honestly, my emotions are getting a little bit too high because the thing is, I am sick and tired of the gaming industry trying to every 20 minutes it possibly can. Let's go. You see, it turns out that the other day, Hazardor Gaming on Twitter posted this. Microsoft had an earnings call for Q3 of 2025, and here's what happened. Gaming revenue was up by 5%.
You see, here's my thing about this. All right. And this is actually not bad, but it's because of Activision. They're reporting like Activision makes so much money even by themselves, and they're adding that in, and they still went negative. The hardware decline is so bad. Well, we already knew this, though. We're not making fun of this. I said this before that at this point, there's no point of still bashing them for that. But you've done so much, and you still are in the negative. Like there's no positive traction for the hardware whatsoever. Why would you do this to kill it even further? That's why I tell you, like, they don't give a shit about you. They're telling you this. Dude, who's been with them? Like, look at what they're doing. Gaming revenue plus 5%. That's terrible. If you bought Activision, you paid $70 billion to only get a plus 5% and to go flat content and service. Like, no. This should be like 50, 70, 80%. Like, when you're really booming. Like it is a dead ecosystem at that point, and you have to grab all the PC and grab all the mobile. Whereas Sony and Nintendo, they're basically just reporting their own, and you're still barely able to scrape by. This gives you an idea that their brand is weak. Nobody cares about it. Nobody wants to support it, and nobody wants to buy it. They would only want to use their Game Pass service, and they knew this. This is the bad aspect of seeing the reality. That's why I said that if you only look at Game Pass, you are going to be blind to this. I'm going to keep it realistic here. And you know I'm disappointed because I wanted to see Microsoft do better than Sony in a lot of ways, and they had the opportunity to do that, and they have way more money, and they fucking just all shot it down. They pissed me off. Like I have no reason. I don't know. Like at this point, it's like, yeah, I'm still gonna back up the Xbox community. Y'all still see me do my videos, but them, like when you make that decision, I'm gonna make my decision too. That's basically what I have to say. So that's why you guys see me furious in a way, because it's like, you made the why? You know what I mean? No, I'm gonna shit on you now, like because that's what you did to the other community and all that. I'm not an Xbox fanboy, so I'm gonna be fine. But you shouldn't have done this.
Hardware revenue was down by 6%, and content and services revenue was up by 8%. It was driven by growth in Xbox Game Pass, especially on PC, by 45%, and Call of Duty and Minecraft.
The 45% on PC is also shallow. That's just microtransaction reportings. People buying all those skins and all that. That's temporary. but it's not as impressive as you think. That's why they said PC. But you see, their console base, they're basically telling you we're focusing on PC, we're gonna be focusing on PlayStation to sell games, and we're gonna be focusing on. So that means that I'm not focusing on you. You can just have Game Pass when I drop games there along with PC users, but you don't get an exclusive privilege because the PC users get the same privileges you get and can play on max settings. Plus, they pay me less. I charge you more on the console. I always thought that was stupid. That's what they're saying. So how are they even benefiting you on console in any sense? They don't. They screw you over. Tell me I'm not. Tell me the PC players don't get better privileges than you right now. They pay less too. And they can't nuke that platform. That's what I'm saying. Like that they do a lot of anti-consumer behavior to you as an Xbox loyal customer for a long time. It is anti-consumer behavior. They're dumping you to the side. You're not a priority. That's anti-consumer. It is. Much as I hate to say it. Game Pass is consumer, but at the same time, they're still being anti-consumer while doing that to the side. That's why I say don't be blind to that. They just threw you something with an illusion, and we all love it. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to be blind to the truth. And then they're continuing the same wicked behavior.
This is actually pretty good news. The fact that the company was in a downslope for quite some time, the hardware dips in revenue of the actual console sales isn't as drastic as it normally was back in previous years, so at least that's leveled off, and they've started to actually increase and make some money back. Fantastic. Going third party was in fact the best thing for them. But it got even crazier because it turns out that Microsoft is now also the biggest publisher on PlayStation, as
Yeah, but you're gonna be. If you have that much money and you failed as a gaming company and somebody that is the richest company in the world leading it comes, steps in and says, here's some extra billions and billions and billions of dollars, who does that? I mean, it's like, no, you're out. You know what I mean? You didn't sustain yourself. Now go and pre-buy a company that's put this stuff together for 25 years. You didn't work to neuter them. That's one thing that I would give to Sony. They work with their studios. Nintendo straight from the in-house. So you pre-package that, and now you're saying I'm the world's biggest publisher, and I prepackaged Bethesda, and then I just slam my labels over that, and now I'm saying this, and I'm just dumping stuff everywhere and jacking up the prices. That's anti-consumer. Like, you have to see the deception in the long term, what it's leading to. But they deceived you and made you thought that it wasn't, so that you can ignore their anti-consumer behavior. I'm not falling for that. I'm calling that shit out. It's exactly what that is. And they knew you were being deceived. They knew you cried about that $79.99 outrage. They still decided to do it. This is what I'm saying. Like, why would you defend this? To me, you're being a dumbass if you are. Because I'm putting it right in front of your face and telling you this is a conscious decision that they're making. They don't give a shit about you. The world's richest company. Of course they don't.
PC Game Pass at 45% year-over-year growth. So not only is Microsoft getting the highest amount of sales from PlayStation on their platform, not only are they having the highest amount of growth for Game Pass on PC, they're making much more revenue than they did before. They're not having a downturn like they did previous years. So things got to be on the up and up, right? Things got to be looking good. Maybe if they just, like I said, stay on the same course and don't do anything, they'll actually do something positive. But what did Microsoft do instead? Microsoft will now be raising the prices of all Xbox Series consoles, and games are going to be confirmed to hit $80 by this holiday. The Xbox Series X is now $599. I can't, bro. A console that came out in 2020 is now $100 more expensive than it was when it launched. Explain to me in any conceivable fashion how this is even appropriate for anybody to put out. This is actually a big
100%. Because Sony didn't jack the prices up in the US yet either. They went ahead of Sony and did it. Yeah, and they're not winning either. They're not selling as well as it's like you realize that this is an agenda. It's the same thing when you wondered about the far left behavior and the politics and all that. You start to see this similar behavior. You're like, there it is again. I could see it behind the scenes. Same thing. It's an agenda, and it's being pushed regardless, like a cult down your throat. And either you pay or they don't care. They'll find somebody else to pay. There's too many sheep in the world. Yeah, it's annoying, isn't it? And fools and fanboys. Always the case with humanity. Free will of choice. Everything you see manifested outside of us is all of their choices. Oh yeah, you allowed this to happen. it is humanity's fault. That's very true, and they know that, and they're gonna keep taking advantage
bigger
until you wake up.
than what PlayStation did with their Slim model. Yeah, it's worse than that. The fact that you're spending $600 on a console, the idea of having a console now as a cheap, affordable option to get into gaming in the first place is now out the window. Why?
Yeah, just don't do anything. Like I said, you could have just kept the prices as they are. You're not dropping any prices, but you can't drop them. You're like, oh, okay. I want to do this to my community. You see, because this people who wants to come into the Xbox ecosystem. The series is what
I spend $600 in Xbox Series X when you can buy a Pro for $700. The literal PS5 Pro that is in fact an actual scam now looks like a good thing in comparison to the Series X that is $600, which is now a huge scam. How?
Like what he said, here comes a worse scam. Now, oh, the PlayStation 4 5 Pro is a good deal now. It was never a good deal, it was a scam. We already proved that. So because somebody comes out and be's more retarded, it's like I told people, all of a sudden that makes that good? When from the get-go, it was never any. No. It's once again, it makes them worse. And you're in last place and you have all that money, you could eat the costs. They still want to get more money off of you. The richest company in the fucking world. Man, if that's not this, I don't know what to tell you. Who wants to defend that? I don't know, man.
Any company could be this actually is absurd to me. How they are literally going around and doing everything they possibly can to sabotage themselves in every sense of the word. They made games for Windows Live, so of course they're going to act this way too. But you know what? I wanted to pull something up that I remembered showing around recently. There was an interview with Phil Spencer back in 2024. Wait till you hear what he has to say about this. You're going to love this. With an interview with Business Insider, here's what Phil Spencer had to say about rising game prices. We've raised the price of games, says Phil Spencer, the CEO of Microsoft Gaming, told GameFile, a newsletter focused on business of gaming. We went through COVID. We found ways of getting more money per player. I think at some point you reach a peak on that. And frankly, it can go to some places that are manipulative that I'm not a big fan of. Spencer continues by saying, I don't think we're doing a good enough job of finding new players, Spencer said. Let's pick consoles as a good example. We found 200 million global households that will play console games, and that number really hasn't changed in the last 5 to 6 years. The solution? Search for new customers by making Xbox games more accessible. You know what's going to make Xbox games more accessible, Philly Spencerino? Not raising the price of the console and the games outside of a bracket that people can't afford. Oh. Oh, God. It's so ridiculous. You morons, you clowns. You're sitting here causing the actual second crash of gaming because you're so obsessed with increasing the profit margin on a consistent basis that you are literally doing the thing you don't want to have happen. How on earth can you increase the market reach that you're trying to get if you're pricing people out of actually accessing the console and the games itself? I have never seen a company more idiotic, moronic, and stupid than Microsoft. Literally getting the entire industry to hand them a potential W on a silver platter, as Nintendo gets lambasted for their price increases, as PlayStation gets...
They had a perfect golden path. They're still going to be successful regardless. I'm saying they had the damn rainbow road in front of them. Biggest carryover in gaming industry. All you had to do is, once again, like he said, don't do anything. Just leave it as it is. No, they're still going to be successful, and they're way better than Microsoft. But the thing is, though, is still why I like it when they dropped that day. I was sitting there thinking all day, why would you do this? You have the perfect fucking road.
Lambasted for their price increases. And what do you clowns do? Like AMD being Nvidia's I'm going to join the party too, guys. Boy, let's raise the game prices. No, you're doing the wrong thing. How many times do you have to take an L over and over to realize you are not that guy, my boy? It shouldn't be this way. You're in third place. You're losing everything. And the only thing you have to do is literally do nothing. And you can't even do that. The crazier part is the meme that I made was only supposed to be a meme.
People just don't get it, man. Like, we're disappointed. Like, they blew it. They had it. To go into next gen, to like at least give the people who've been with them for a long time and the gamers something very, very nice. And they fucking blew it, bro. They nuked themselves. I'm not even joking, man. And their own remaining base that stood with them, holding on, saying, I'm suffering with you. They said, fuck you too. They did. That's why I was like, man, what am I finna defend you, man? I'm about to burn you to the ground. I'm more mad than you now than I'm at Sony, in a certain sense, disappointment-wise. Yeah, man, yeah, you better believe it.
You guys stepping on a rake every single time you do one good thing, you do two bad things right behind it, isn't supposed to be a truth thing. It's not supposed to be something that is actually coming to fruition. It's supposed to be a joke, and you are watching this content and literally doing it yourselves. Hell, just like 2 weeks ago when I made a video about how you could exactly do something to be a positive force in the gaming industry, here's what I said. And hopefully, though, Microsoft doesn't go ahead and screw me the entire time by raising the price of Game Pass, not about a week after I make this video.
That's going to happen too.
Will be funny to see, though, I'll tell you that.
And telling people.
Imagine if they did that, though. Like, I put this video out like, hey, you guys are being pro-consumer. Good job. And then all of a sudden, they're like, Game Pass, $35 a month. It's like, oh, great. Now I'm a flip-flopper. Now I'm just a flip-flop. You know, that'd be that whole thing. That'd be just... That would be my luck. That really would be my luck. You see, me predicting the future should not be a good thing. It's actually a bad thing. When I say something is going to happen, that is the worst outcome for consumers. Instead of you guys increasing the price of Game Pass, you're increasing the price of consoles and video games to $80. And look, people are going to be like, oh, blame Nintendo. No. I'm not going to blame Nintendo. Although they were the first ones to fire across the bow to say, hey, we're charging $80. There is no way on earth you can put the entire blame on Nintendo directly. What you can put the blame on, though, is the fact that companies and corporations have an army of simps going out to defend them and these price increases. Everything from trying to blame the tariffs, which honestly make no sense, we're going to debunk that as well, to going around and screaming things like support the devs as they have record layoffs and record profits in the same exact actual fiscal year, to going around and doing everything they possibly can by saying things like, I'll spend $100 for a video game if it's a quality, as we've talked about consistently. The problem isn't just the game companies. The problem isn't just Nintendo, because every other game company was raising their game prices when 2K did it first to $70,
exactly.
When Activision did it to $60 back in the 360 days. And what happens is every other game developer and company goes ahead and says, well, we're going to do it too. Instead of just actually bucking the trend, they say, well, if they're going to charge 10 more bucks, so can we. And that's what's going to happen. Now, GTA 6, I'm kind of thinking that's going to be a $100 game. And when that hits $100 and breaks the dam, what's going to happen? Every other game will hit $100. But you know what? Let's not put the cart before the horse. Let's see what actually happened in terms of pricing directly with these new changes, shall we? You see, Xbox put out a PDF with multiple different countries. One for the United Kingdom.
Yeah, and I went over those before, but we kind of get the idea here. I like his take on here because I understand how he feels. It's very annoying. And like I said, it's kind of hard to even try to say I want to like be positive with them. It's like, bro, at that point, then you just got to have hopium or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's disappointing. So we're going to see what happens. Still a fantastic year for Game Pass and their monopoly showing off. But, you know, the Microsoft, did they ever like find a way to do something successful themselves though? No, they just bought stuff and coded it in front of you, but they never shown you that they could do that successful themselves. That's why they keep making these stupid mistakes, because they don't know what they're doing. All right, y'all. Peace out. Have a great day. Stay true.